Welcome to Nollywood Radio France. I'm your host, Cyprian Joseph. The Nollywood Week Paris Festival 2014 is just at the corner. The festival starts in the first week of June. Click on www.nollywoodweek.com to get all the details with regard to the event. This year, Nollywood Paris Week Festival will screen the best of Nigerian films at the Arlequin Cinema Theatre in the center of Paris. In 2013, the Nollywood Week Paris Festival attracted more than 1,500 viewers and many Nollywood stars graced the occasion. Today we bring you the mood, ambience and exclusive interviews of the festival in 2013. Please stay with us.
We just wanted Nollywood to be seen and to be understood and to be visible in Paris, France, because Paris is one of the most important cities when it comes to cinema in the world, and it made no sense that there was no access to Nollywood in this city. So we had to create something, and also we wanted to focus on quality. So we wanted to bring the best films of Nollywood, not just any Nollywood. That's what prompted this festival to do.
Thank you very much.
Nollywood Week in Paris. They here today, I'm so much impressed, so happy to see you all present. Especially some of our heroes, some of our filmmakers. I'm very, very proud of you. Our father, Kide Kilani, I'm so much impressed that you are here today. You're welcome. Ulia Fenaya, you're welcome. Mahmoud Ali, you're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Anko. I want to give you some time.
And again, I've seen the trailer of your movie. Now, what I loved yesterday, just about one thing, starting in the middle of my head, is how did you put together these languages? We heard the Ghanaian language, we heard the Pidgin, Yoruba, which I speak because I'm Igbo, but I speak Yoruba also, English, and what else again? Igbo. Awesome. Now, you heard the people laughing. Now there's something about dubbing movies. I prefer, from my own opinion, I prefer subtitling and setting at the same time the movie and our culture. So how did you put all this together?
Well, let me start by saying thank you for seeing the movie and for the good comments. From the beginning, it's my aim and objective has always been to maintain and retain the African culture, the language, majorly to use my film, to document and present who we are to the outside world. And Nigeria is such a complex country where you have more than 200 dialects, and every of this tribe have their ways of communication, and I realize that there is this originality in when you maintain your original language in film, in presentation, and sometimes even when you giggle in the indigenous way, people laugh because they could feel the originality in it. So, and I said, look, this is what I'll sell to the world. First of all, it helps my market in Nigeria, and I'm not a fan of, I don't even think I'm going to ever do a film in purely English speaking, not because the actors cannot speak English, not because I don't understand English, but it's just not original, and it is not just who we are, and this has worked for me. I've done 3 major films, and they're all multilingual, and people really love them.
I love it. Now, coming to the actors, how did you put that? The cast was just wonderful. They were so good, but how did you put them together again? This is
anytime I have a project like the script, as I read, I imagine people.
Okay.
And also, I always give people opportunity to audition.
Okay.
But there are some established actors that will always, come into the picture.
Yes.
Take for example, I was going to use Sam Loco to play the roles that I played.
Okay.
But unfortunately, Sam Loco died a week to the shoot.
Yeah.
Which was why I dedicated the film to him.
Okay.
Wale Ojo was not my original cast.
Okay.
I was going to use someone else, but I realized the other person just did another film with my lead female actor.
Okay.
So I said, no, I'm not going to play them together. So Wale came around, and Wale has been acting for over 25 years in UK, but he's never done anything major in Nigeria. So I gave him that chance. And Unse, the Mary, I casted her like over a year before the film. I never knew she was an actress. We met in Berlin, and we were having drinks. She was sitting in front of me, and she was laughing. And while laughing, I'm like, okay, she has this broad smile. She's very natural. And I started picturing, her in the film. Then I saw her again like 6 months after, the same coincidence. The same scenario. And I said, look, what language do you speak? She's Calabar.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'll send you a script, read it. If you like it, let me know. And that gave her like 6 months to be able to learn the few Igbos that she spoke. And it's not just Igbo, it's Owerri Igbo, which is even
you see, I come from Owerri.
Exactly. So we had to really maintain, because people are saying Owerri is different. So we had to exactly. So these are things that people pick out in film, and I'd like to just pay attention to details. So that was how we pulled that through.
It was fantastic. But now the last question, because some other people are waiting for you. How did you feel? How did you feel yesterday, listening to the French audience laughing and enjoying your movie? That must be wonderful for a director like you.
Well, I felt good, but this has been the reaction everywhere I've been, even in Japan, even the premiere we had in London to over 400 people, even the cocky white audience were like, blown away. People will be laughing, eating into each other. And, you know, you feel good when you see people react to an indigenous film like that. We did a screening in Amsterdam in a school community. And after the film, even the people came out and said, look, they are wondering why this kind of film doesn't get mainstream distribution, because they think this is Oscar, this is, you know, they were, and you know, when people are bullshitting you, when people are acting hypocrisy, you know. But these are real people, and you know, they came out genuinely to express, you know, how they feel about all these things. So for me, it keeps you going. You want to do more good work because you want people to, you know, enjoy and perceive at least what we have to offer from that side of the world.
This question has nothing to do with what's happening in Paris. Are you going to the NAFCA awards ceremony in September?
In London?
No, it's in North Carolina and Washington by Dr. Victor Latoye.
I'm not sure. I think they sent someone sent me a message yesterday asking something, but really I've not gotten any official invite to that.
Oh, really?
So if I don't get, then you know.
Dr. Victor Latoye is missing on something here. I have to call him and tell him that what I've seen in Paris is just fantastic.
No, we're hoping to, I mean, it's happening and we have to celebrate it. You know, the industry, we need to help in every possible way to make it grow, to make it, you know, known to the world. And I mean, if such opportunity comes, it will be nice to share, you know, all these things with the rest of the world.
And what are you going to tell people at home? Serge is a very good friend of mine, and I'm a partner. A good number of the stars, they didn't come. Maybe they don't know. What are you going to tell them when you get back to Nigeria?
Well, we've had conferences and workshops, and we talk, and we've been talking since, and I'm just a bit tired of talking, and I just think it is the best way to get your message communicated to the world is when you do something for people to see, and then whoever wants to emulate that will do so. Whoever feels they have a different style will do so. But you know, it is just important when I think when they read reviews and they see, you know, from magazines like yours and you know, from television, then they see that, look, it doesn't all end in Nigeria. You know, a good work will take you all over the world. Even when you don't even pay for PR for them, they will create the PR for itself. And for me, it's just about doing a good work, and that is what I will continue to do.
Thank you very much for giving me this time.
No problem.
Have a nice day.
You too, sir.
Particularly with people in the diaspora, and it showed the two worlds, you know, the rich and the poor, and how through hard work one can become better. At the same time, it showed how a man who was up there became, you know, he became aware that poor you are. You know, when he went to the village and and he was missing something. He was in a different world, in an artificial world. Then he met these people, the real people in the village, and that was fantastic. And then he started appreciating, you know, life's easy, life. And these people are having they are poor, but they are very happy, despite the, you know. No, it was quite good, particularly also to the French community, because most of the time they show movies, when people go to Africa, they show the worst of Africa. Here they show two sides, the rich, and let's say the urban life, and then, you know, the village life. So we have two worlds. People here don't know that in Africa, there are people who have nice houses and nice cars. They think all is grim, all is poverty, and you see, that is good for people who've never been there. For us, we know, when we go to Africa, we know what Africa is. That for the French community, this is going, they'll be surprised to see that people have such wonderful houses, and then also we have villages. We can have such wonderful houses in town, and then we go back sometimes to the roots, where you are obliged to become, you know, I don't know, humiliate yourself and know where you come from, your roots. So it was really wonderful, and I hope to continue. And my daughter is one of the, you know, of the organizers, and they've worked very, very hard, and to raise funds. We've all tried to help out, but I think it's happening, and the first night is fantastic. See, the turnout is wonderful, and I think the Nollywood film here in France is going to you know, to have a market. It's very positive.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You're a different filmmaker because you use indigenous language, yes. It's Yoruba, and you know what? It's Yoruba.
Mostly that I use. Sometimes I use English, but yes. The film is set in the culture.
And again, I watch Yoruba movies here because in Ibadan, I'm Igbo. I used to speak Yoruba correctly. I read,
yes.
But to make sure I don't forget my Yoruba, I go on watching Yoruba
films. Yes. Okay, that's right. Yes.
So talk about Mami.
Mami?
Yes.
Well, Mami, you know, partly it worked, you know, on three levels. Number one, it's an adaptation from literature, and I have done more adaptations than perhaps, you know, in Africa.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I won't take much of your time.
Okay.
Let's go quickly because
you know,
it seems
so it's an adaptation of Femi Oshofizo's novel.
Yeah.
And again, he had strong positive woman character,
okay.
And the single parent in our traditional society, and it's a salute, a tribute to our mothers. Okay. You know, and then he documented the last World Cup that was played on African soil. Okay. You know, so these are the three main issues, you know, that are in Mami.
And now, just the last word, the festival is ending up today.
Yes.
What are you taking back to Nigeria? What were your impressions?
You know, for me, having started a long time ago in the industry, I've witnessed several developments in the Nigerian film industry or Nollywood or African cinema. I can only say, like I said to Obi, you know, the director of the last flight to Abuja, that I'm really proud of all of them.
Yeah. Thank you very much for giving me this interview. Thank you. The first question is, from a lawyer to a filmmaker, where do you get this energy?
I think a friend of mine says that who we are, whatever we are, goes into everything we do. Everything we are goes into everything we do. I think you know, my journey as a human being has helped me as a filmmaker, and that journey started academically as a theater artist. I studied theater arts at University of Nigeria in Nsukka, and then I went to London, and I realized that you could not make a living as a theater artist starting out in London. I was pragmatic, so I studied law, as an alternative career that I felt would give me the profile that was transferable and also allow me the time to be able to practice my craft while I made a good living for my family. So law provided all of those things until it got to the stage where I felt, after juggling the two careers, I felt the time was right to bite the bullets and drop law and concentrate on films. I did that in 2007, and it's taken me a while to get going, but I think it's one of the best decisions I've made as a human being.
That's great. Now, let me come to your first, to one of your movies, which is not your first, because your first was in 1999, from what I wrote here. Right, so now the Mirror Boy. Now, the cast of the Mirror Boy, how did you get those two men, you know, Aki and Popo? Yes, Aki and Popo. And just, well, I watched the trailer, right? But let's start with that. What inspired you to write that script or the movie or shoot the movie? Because you are a director, you have the passion for it.
The Mirror Boy was a blessed project, I would say, a blessed project. It's a script that I wrote at a time that I felt my life was at its lowest ebb, and it's gone on to be my moment of glory through all the things that it's achieved. It's essentially, I was looking at my son, who was 7 at the time, grapple with his dual nationality. At school, he's a British boy. At home, he's a Nigerian, because I enforced the Nigerian regime. But for some people without a father figure, they could not determine who they were. There was an identity crisis amongst a lot of young black people in the UK and everywhere in the diaspora. So I felt I needed to tell a story from a child's perspective of a journey back home to Africa to kind of rediscover who they are, a kind of rites of passage, coming of age story. So this young man got involved in a fight in London, and a single mom decides that she could not manage him anymore, that she had to send him back home to get discipline. And the boy goes missing on his second day in Africa and embarks on this magical journey through the dark belly of the forest. And when he finished from that journey, he was a grown man. He walked into the forest as a boy and came out of the forest as a man. So it's that kind of very spiritual, deep African story, the Mirror Boy, and it connected with the world. And half of what I'm doing now came from that single film.
Yes, that's exactly what you said, because the first time you wanted to join the Nollywood industry, it was a little bit difficult for you. Do you see yourself as a comeback kid with the Mirror?
I think if you knock and the door refuses to open, you keep knocking, and in some cases smash the door in. I came back from the UK to Nigeria in 2000, the first time, to say I wanted to join and grow my art and grow with an industry that was growing at the time. And I was rebuffed, not by any one individual, by the system, by the fact that I could not understand the streetwise, the kind of naivety that I had didn't suit the business climate. So in the end, I ran away. But it was a retreat as opposed to a surrender. I retreated back to the UK, recharged my batteries, changed my focus, and I told myself that I was going to come back into Nigeria when the circumstances were right. And I believe in the UK, I now started making films made specifically for UK cinema audiences, with a view to growing an audience and with a view to practicing what I feel should be where African film industry should be going. And that came to a head in 2011 with the Mirror Boy, which happened, I call it the confluence of circumstances, because everything came together. It was the right film, it was the right time, it was the right mood, it was the right atmosphere, and the consciousness of the people as an audience was at the right stage, where they've kind of rejected the old, the old films and wanted something different, wanted a different story. So it was that kind of circumstances, and the Mirror Boy became my comeback film, if you want to use that word or that phrase. And what a comeback like it was, because it kind of catapulted me from just an ordinary filmmaker to one that has international repute and local kudos.
Now, I bought my ticket this evening to watch a wonderful movie. The last flight to Abuja, we got to fasten up our belts again. Just talk about it and don't give everything away. Okay, all right. Yeah.
Last flight to Abuja was conceived as a humble project, as a follow-up to Mirror Boy. You know, the Mirror Boy with all its successes critically and commercially. I was emboldened to be more adventurous with the kind of stories that I told. So I decided to tackle this very technically challenging field of aviation. I've been fascinated as a young man by flying a plane and being a pilot, and this is the closest I've come to flying one, to make a film about one. So it tried to look back at 2005, 2006, an era when Nigerian aviation suffered the most, when planes were literally falling off the skies. So, but we've shot the film. I wrote the script in 2007. We shot the film in 2011, November, and we were planning a premiere in London on the 8th of June, 2012. But as I was coming back from Nigeria where I went for an award, lo and behold, a plane crashed in Nigeria with uncanny similarity with the story of my film, and the simple film that I made became involved, and without knowing it, whether I agreed or not, I had become involved in a campaign for safer skies in Africa and not just in Nigeria. And on the back of that, I got a lot of press on CNN African Voices in September last year, on the BBC, where I talked about this very almost prophetic film. But by His grace, it's worked well. It became one of the highest grossing films to come out of Nollywood, the highest grossing in West Africa the whole of last year, and still is. And it's been shown in a lot of festivals: Cairo, Toronto, Seattle, Monaco, and now Nollywood Week in France.
Now we're going to finish with Nollywood Week in Paris, France, for the first time. Not to take much of your time because people are looking, and then we will go quickly to watch that movie. So what do you think about this festival, this new one, and how are you going to talk to the other stars like you back home or anywhere to at least make an effort to come next year to help these young people that did everything with their own money? It's not money, but it's a way to promote the image of Africa and Nigeria and the Nollywood industries. So what do you think about what they're doing, and how are you going to help in future?
No, this is a great initiative. We feel that there are lots of festivals happening all over the place, but there is a missing link between Francophone and Anglophone, and we've been cut and separated, and it's our time now to reunite ourselves. And this move is a very wonderful step in the right direction to try and unify Africa as one creative, one cinematic voice. And the fact that they've selected some films from Nollywood to launch this doesn't mean that it stops with Nigeria. And I believe in the future there will be an extended African section to this event, because it's a huge opportunity to celebrate ourselves, to bring our products to a new set of audience, to tell the world that we exist, we have stories, and we're telling them increasingly in very technical and very qualitative way. So this is a wonderful initiative, and kudos to Kudus and Serge for coming up with this and raising hell and high water to make it happen, and happen at a quality that is really commendable. And I whatever film I make in the future, if I'm invited, even if I don't have any films, I'm invited to come and support this, I will do that. And I implore all the other filmmakers to see this as a huge opportunity to open themselves up to, on a selfish level, open themselves up to a new audience, but on a more general and a more communal level, raise the profile of African cinema, raise the profile of Nigerian cinema, and break new grounds for the glory of God, I say.
Thank you very much for giving me your time. It's great having you here today in Paris, and I hope we shall meet again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
that's it's Shakiri, and that is what back in those days my forefathers used to sing. You know, I was brought up with the song. Okay, the next song I'm going to sing, I think you should know this one. It's Bob Marley's, and it's one of my, one of the songs I love so much. Redemption Song. How many of you know that song? Yeah. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob by. Sold out to the merchant ship. Minutes have turned into guy. From the bottomless pit. But my hands was made strong. Mighty hands of the Almighty. We fought in this generation. Oh Lord, triumphantly. But won't you help to sing? Oh Lord, the song of freedom. 'Cause all I ever had, redemption song. Listen, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy. 'Cause none of them are going to pass the times. But how long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the books. Come on. Well, won't you have to sing? That's right, you're doing it. Come on. The song of freedom. 'Cause all I ever redemption song. Have to sing. Won't you have to sing? That's right. Come on. The song of freedom. 'Cause all that's right. Redemption song. All you ever had. Redemption song. All I ever had. Redemption song. Sound of freedom. Redemption song. Sound of
Bravo.
You've been listening to Nollywood Radio France. Thanks for listening.